Look around your bedroom tonight. The walls, the locked doors, the roof above your head. All of it exists for one reason: to keep things out. Most of the things you're protecting yourself from are harmless. Rain, wind, noise, maybe the occasional burglar. But for almost all of human history, there was something else outside. Something with teeth. For 300,000 years, every single one of your ancestors fell asleep in predator territory. Not behind brick walls, not behind locked doors, not inside climate-controlled homes. They slept in caves, temporary shelters, open camps, sometimes beneath nothing more than a few branches and animal skins. And outside those shelters lived lions, leopards, hyenas, wolves, bears, animals capable of killing a human in seconds. Which raises an obvious question: why didn't they? If ancient humans spent hundreds of thousands of years surrounded by predators, why wasn't every night a massacre? Why aren't we simply the descendants of a tiny number of lucky survivors? The strange answer is that predators were often far more afraid of humans than humans were of them. And understanding why reveals one of the most important survival advantages our species ever developed. Because despite what movies show, humans were never the strongest animals. We weren't the fastest. We weren't the biggest. We weren't the best climbers. We couldn't see particularly well in the dark. Compared to the predators sharing our world, we should have been easy prey. Yet somehow, we survived. Not only survived, we spread across every continent on Earth, while many of those predators disappeared. The story of how that happened begins after sunset, because night was the most dangerous time in the ancient world. Humans are daytime creatures. Our eyesight is designed for sunlight. Most predators hunt when the sun goes down. Lions are primarily active at night. Leopards hunt at night. Hyenas become active at night. Wolves often travel and hunt under darkness. In other words, when humans became weakest, predators became strongest. On paper, this should have been a disaster. Imagine an early human camp 100,000 years ago. No walls, no doors, no alarms, no flashlights, no rifles, no phones. Just a handful of people lying on the ground trying to sleep. And somewhere beyond the darkness, glowing eyes watching. But here's the thing. Predators are not machines. They don't attack everything they see. In fact, most predators spend their entire lives avoiding unnecessary risks. A lion that gets injured while hunting can starve. A wolf with a broken leg often dies. A leopard that loses an eye becomes a worse hunter forever. In the wild, survival is not about bravery, it's about caution. Every predator alive today is descended from generations of animals that avoided dangerous situations, and humans look dangerous. Even before we became the dominant species, there's a concept in animal behavior called neophobia, fear of unfamiliar things. Most large predators possess it, and for good reason. The unfamiliar can be deadly. If an animal encounters a strange sound, a strange smell, or a strange shape it doesn't understand, the safest response is usually caution. Humans triggered that response constantly. We didn't move like prey. We didn't smell like prey. We didn't behave like prey. A deer runs. A rabbit bolts. A gazelle panics. Humans stood together. Humans carried strange objects. Humans made strange sounds. And eventually humans carried something even stranger: fire. Fire changed everything. The earliest evidence for controlled fire dates back hundreds of thousands of years, possibly even over 1 million years, depending on the site. And once humans learned to maintain fire, the entire relationship between humans and predators changed. Most predators fear fire instinctively. Not because they understand it, because they don't. Fire moves, fire crackles, fire spits sparks, fire burns. To a predator, it's unpredictable, and unpredictable things are dangerous. A campfire creates a circle. Inside that circle, humans can see. Predators cannot approach easily. The darkness belongs to the animals, but the firelight belongs to humans. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer groups have repeatedly observed the same pattern. Predators often linger at the edges of camps, but they rarely cross into the firelight. The flames create an invisible boundary, a warning, a signal: stay away. For early humans, this was revolutionary. For the first time in evolutionary history, the night no longer belonged entirely to predators. Humans had carved out a small piece of it for themselves. But fire wasn't the only reason predators stayed away. Humans had another advantage, one that became stronger every generation: each other. Unlike most predators, humans rarely slept alone. They slept in groups. A single sleeping human is vulnerable. 10 sleeping humans are something else entirely, because somebody is always awake. Somebody is feeding the fire. Somebody is listening. Somebody is watching. Modern hunter-gatherer societies often maintain exactly this pattern. People wake naturally throughout the night. Different individuals remain alert at different times. Researchers studying Hadza hunter-gatherers in Tanzania discovered that among dozens of people sleeping together, there was almost always at least one person awake. Not because they planned it. Not because anyone stood guard. It happened naturally. While one person slept, another woke. While that person slept, someone else stirred. The result was a camp that was never completely unconscious. To a predator watching from the darkness, that matters a lot, because predators prefer certainty, and a group of humans is anything but certain. But the most interesting part of this story isn't fire. It's what happened inside the minds of predators. Imagine you're a wolf living 40,000 years ago. You know what prey looks like. You know what deer do. You know how rabbits behave. You know how antelope move. Your entire evolutionary history has taught you how prey animals act. Then you encounter humans. And nothing makes sense. Humans don't run when they should. They carry sticks that can kill from a distance. They throw rocks. They gather in groups. They make loud noises. Sometimes they chase animals for hours until the animals collapse from exhaustion. No predator had ever encountered anything quite like that before. To a wolf, a sleeping deer is understandable. A sleeping human is confusing, and confusion is often protection. Modern wildlife researchers still see this pattern today. Every year, millions of people sleep in tents inside national parks. They sleep in bear territory, wolf territory, mountain lion territory, places filled with predators, and almost none of them are attacked. That sounds obvious until you think about it. You're unconscious, you can't run, you can't fight. You're lying on the ground. By every biological definition, you're perfect prey. Yet predators almost always leave you alone. Not because they don't know you're there, because they do. A bear can smell you from miles away. A wolf can detect you long before you notice it. A mountain lion can watch you from nearby without ever revealing its presence. They're aware of you. They're simply choosing not to approach. Why? Because humans carry thousands of years of reputation. Predators learn, not individually, as populations, generation after generation. The predators that treated humans carelessly often didn't survive. The predators that avoided humans did. Over time, that creates a powerful evolutionary lesson. Humans are dangerous. Not always, not immediately, but unpredictably dangerous. And unpredictable is often worse. A deer is predictable. A human isn't. A deer never suddenly throws a spear. A deer never lights a fire. A deer never returns with 20 other deer carrying weapons. Humans do. For predators, uncertainty is risk, and risk is expensive. The relationship became even stranger when wolves began moving closer to human camps. Somewhere between 15,000 and 40,000 years ago, depending on which evidence you follow, certain wolves started lingering around humans, not because they loved people, because people created opportunities. Human camps produced scraps, bones, food waste, easy calories. The wolves that were slightly less fearful stayed nearby. The wolves that were too aggressive were driven away or killed. Generation after generation, a remarkable thing happened. Those wolves became dogs, and dogs transformed the nighttime equation. Now imagine being a leopard approaching a human camp. You already dislike the fire. You already dislike the humans. And now there's an animal specifically evolved to notice you. Dogs can hear things humans miss, smell things humans miss, detect movement long before humans do. Suddenly approaching a human camp becomes even less appealing. Some researchers believe this partnership gave Homo sapiens a significant advantage, not just in hunting, not just in travel, but in survival itself. Because for the first time, humans had another set of senses working alongside them, a living alarm system, one that remained active when humans slept. But let's be clear, ancient humans were not invincible. Predators absolutely killed people. Lions killed people. Leopards killed people. Hyenas killed people. Crocodiles killed people. And sometimes those attacks were terrifyingly common. Archaeologists have found evidence of predator attacks on ancient human remains. Some fossilized bones contain tooth marks. Others show injuries consistent with large carnivores. The ancient world was dangerous, far more dangerous than the modern one. But here's what's important. Those attacks were the exception, not the rule. If predators routinely hunted humans, our species would never have spread across the planet. The numbers simply wouldn't work. A successful species cannot lose large portions of its population every night. Instead, most predator encounters ended the same way. Observation. A lion sees humans. The lion waits. The lion leaves. A wolf smells humans. The wolf circles. The wolf leaves. A leopard watches from a tree. The leopard remains hidden. The leopard leaves. Because most predators are not looking for a fight. They're looking for an easy meal. And humans rarely qualify as easy, especially when gathered together, especially around fire, especially when armed. One of the strangest examples comes from modern wolf studies. Researchers observing wolves in the wild have noticed something unusual. When wolves encounter humans, they often spend time studying them, watching, evaluating, trying to understand what they're seeing. A sleeping human creates particularly confusing signals. No body language, no submission, no dominance display, no prey behavior, just stillness. A creature that doesn't react the way animals are supposed to react. And again, confusion becomes protection. There's a deeper lesson hidden underneath all of this. Humans spent hundreds of thousands of years fearing the dark, and that fear was justified. The darkness contained real dangers, real predators, real risks. But over time, something remarkable happened. The balance shifted, slowly, generation by generation. Humans became the animal that other animals feared, not because we were stronger, not because we were faster, but because we were smarter, more cooperative, more adaptable. A lone human is vulnerable. A group of humans around a fire becomes something entirely different, something predators struggle to understand, something predators learn to avoid. The cave lion disappeared. The dire wolf disappeared. The American cheetah disappeared. Many apex predators vanished from landscapes shortly after humans arrived, not because humans were unstoppable, but because humans were persistent, relentless, dangerous in ways nature had never seen before, and the predators that survived learned the lesson. Stay away. Today, when you're lying in a tent listening to something moving through the trees outside, your imagination usually fills in the rest. A wolf, a bear, a mountain lion, something watching, something hunting. But the reality is usually much less dramatic. Whatever is out there probably already knows you're there. It smelled you hours ago. It heard you arrive. It heard your zipper, your footsteps, your breathing. And after gathering all that information, it made a decision, not to attack, not to approach, but to keep its distance. Because somewhere deep in the instincts of nearly every large predator alive today is a lesson written across thousands of generations. Humans are not prey. Humans are something else. For 300,000 years, your ancestors slept beneath the same stars as lions, wolves, hyenas, and leopards. And despite every reason they shouldn't have survived, they did, night after night, generation after generation. Not because the world was safe, but because they learned how to make it fear them. And that may be one of the most important survival stories ever told. The next time you turn off your bedroom light and climb into bed, remember this. You are the descendant of people who slept in predator territory for hundreds of thousands of years. People who listened to distant growls in the darkness. People who trusted a small campfire and the people around them. People who survived long enough to become the species every predator learned to avoid. Sleep well, and if one part of this story surprised you, let me know in the comments. Because some of the most fascinating parts of human history are hidden in the things we never think to question.